Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Chelsea versus Brighton preview. And it's a big game. I mean, I say that every game, but this game just feels, the magnitude of it feels enormous, because if we don't win this game, things could implode. Like, genuinely, this doesn't become more of a must win than it already is. Like, it really must be a win, this match. We talk about good performances. We talk about, massive losses, obviously having to respond to what happened at Newcastle. We talk about having periods, 20, 30 minutes in games, periods for performances, 20, 30 minutes in game. I need a complete performance, back to front, 90 minutes, clean sheet. We need to get familiar with clean sheets again. We're automatically assuming we're going to concede goals at this point now. We have to start getting in our minds clean sheets. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into my team. We're going to get into this preview. But before we do, many, many thanks to everybody who's been kind of reaching out over the last day or so because of a podcast that I did. The link and the kind of podcast will be in the corner for you to click on, whatever corner that is. And yeah, listen, I'm glad you guys enjoyed. It was kind of more of a personal podcast, a journey that I've been on. If you remember the first video ever on this channel, which will kind of flash up maybe now on screen, you'll see a lot has changed. Do you know what I mean? We've been saving. Every penny we've made really from this channel has been put back in, reinvested, new tech, new scenery, just trying to improve it, lighting, everything, making sure it's just as good as it can be for you guys. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying that podcast. I'm glad you can see the progress. And yeah, long may it continue, man. We will be getting Saj in this set some way, somehow, because this brother needs to appear at some point. If you guys remember, obviously we used to make videos very early on in the channel, and he lives far enough away where I haven't seen him in a while, but we'll get him here. We'll drag him here as we must. So yeah, check that out if you haven't checked it out. And if you have and you enjoyed, very glad that you did. So listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. You guys, you deserve the best, as I keep saying, and that's why we try to bring it to you. And this is not it. There's more coming. Like I said, there's more stuff ordered that has not arrived that I need to, build when it gets here. And cameras are coming, because we've just got this one. We're going to get two more so you can get different angles. And then the guests are going to come in. You saw, we kind of started the whole guest thing on this channel. We had Thabz, we had Fuad. Then I went away. I spoke to them, see what needs to be improved, to try and make the set even more live. And like I said, those extra cameras give you extra shots and stuff. So we're going to be getting those soon as well once we get the specs. So yeah, glad you guys have enjoyed that. So yeah, smash up the likes like I said already. Now, let's get into this preview, man, because it's a must win. And like I said, we've got a few issues of our own, but we know that Brighton coming into this match have got a plethora, is that the right word, of injuries. They are on their bare bones, really, as a squad, right? There's a lot of injuries. Their centre-back pairing of Webster and Dunk, they're both out. They're going to have a chop and change in there. Let's put their team straight up on screen so you guys know what we're dealing with here. So the potential lineup is still a good team. Don't get me wrong. There's still very good players in there. We know João Pedro is performing at the moment. We know Ivan Ferguson, he could play. He's a talent. But we have to win this game at home. We played them in the cup. We beat them. We played them in preseason. I believe we beat them as well. So, we're starting to repair damage against them bit by bit. It's going to take some time, but we must perform, especially when you talk about three of the players that we've acquired from their team in Sanchez, Cucurella, and Caicedo are probably all going to be starting in this game. So really doesn't look good on us if not only do they have a lot of injury concerns and we've taken three of their players and still not putting a performance against them, which we must. So yeah, that goes, without saying. Now, in terms of Brighton, we know they're going to play their way. They're going to play out from the back. They're going to try and connect the dots, and they're going to play a good brand of football. And that should, I say should, because Newcastle, it clearly didn't, should play into our hands, because there is going to be space to play. There is going to be an opportunity for Gallagher to be a trigger in the press and to really, try and win the ball high up the pitch and counter press, and then we can start our attacks from there. We're not going to be coming up against a low block. We're not going to be coming up against a team that is relying on its physical attributes, which we've really struggled with against Brentford, against Nottingham Forest, where the long throws and the crosses, and Newcastle, of course, as well, and the corners. We're not going to really be going up against that kind of team. They want to play out on the ground. They want to play us off the park. So all of that, this goes more into the Bournemouth and the Aston Villa category of games where, yeah, you're gonna get your opportunities, but let's actually take them, because it's not just because we don't have a physical, low block team that we're necessarily going to do well, as we've seen in those previous fixtures that I mentioned. So we need to step it up, man. And like I said, for me, this team, it's peaks and troughs, but we need to see more peaks and we need to see more performance and we need to go on a run because we're slowly getting cut adrift from those teams ahead of us, like the Brightons, like the West Hams, the Newcastles. We're more than a win away from them. You take a look at the table now, I think we're 4 points away from West Ham, and then Brighton, Newcastle, Manchester United is even more points, right? So if we don't start winning these games, really the next two we need to win, right? Brighton and Manchester United, Newcastle we needed to win. If we don't start winning these games against the teams in and around us, then we're going to get cut adrift. And then we're putting even more pressure on ourselves going up against those Evertons and Sheffield Uniteds. And we know that run that's coming up in the Christmas period, which again, we must win those games, but that's going to be a different type of challenge with the low blocks. So we need to really take points. It's double homicide. We need to take points off Brighton so we know they don't get further away and that we can actually catch them up a little bit. Now, for me, we need to really be aware of Matoma. That's the main threat for Brighton. I think you guys know that, right? It's not rocket science. On that left wing, he's a fantastic ball manipulator. He's a fantastic dribbler. He's a fantastic chance creator. And he's bold and he's daring and he's persistent. He's like maybe like a Martinelli in some ways where even if the previous dribble or the previous, take on didn't work out, they're going again for you and they're going again and they're going again. Now, I mention him because we know we've got our own issues, right? Injuries and suspensions. Now, the injuries, we'll park that. That's along the bottom of your screen, has been scrolling. If you've seen it, the team news continues as always a long day to go through, the injuries of Fofana, Carney Chukwuemeka, etc. Now, thankfully, Pochettino, in his presser, has said that he's going to analyze Lavia and Nkunku's fitness. One more training session, see how they are. At best, they'll be on the bench. If not, they won't be in the squad. I feel like Christmas has come early with those two even returning. The fact that I'm even being able to mention their name in a team sheet, in terms of the bench is really, really nice to know. But regardless, they won't be starting. So they're not part of the A plan. And the A plan has got to work. We don't want to be relying on our bench to try and get through this game for players that are just coming back who really, let's be honest, shouldn't really play more than maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max and are not going to go, full throttle when they come on. So I think for me, Matoma on that left wing is obviously the main threat. We know that Gusto is injured. We know that Reece James is suspended. We know that Pochettino in the press conference kind of spoken about that. And, he's the captain. And we've gone through this. He needs to, buckle down a little bit and, play with a calm head at times and not be so erratic and rash and get sending-offs. But we've already spoken about that. Then what are we going to do at right back? That's the key. Now, my team is up on screen now. I've had a lot of time to think about this, right? Because Caicedo at right back was something that I was really starting to get the ball rolling on the big six. And I was starting to push it in my head. I was like, Caicedo at right back could be really, really good. I've walked away from it. Now, there's two reasons. One, I think Caicedo at right back, of course, you're talking about him potentially inverting him to midfield. You're talking about someone in Thiago Silva playing on the right side centre-back position, which is where he usually plays, and having to come across. I don't want Thiago Silva in wide areas. And when you play Caicedo at right back, you're not playing him there to just keep him at right back. Most likely, you're playing him in there to come into midfield, as he did for Brighton against Arsenal at the Emirates last season with Martinelli. But the problem is, our right side centre-back, really, if it's Disasi or Silva, they shouldn't be going into wide areas. So we actually need a right back that's purely going to just pin Matoma and just not move, right? He's not going to get engaged with any other phase of play. He's just going to purely park it and just be a defensive player on that side. So at right back, I'm going to have Gallagher. It's my first wild card. It's my first shock of the video. I'm explaining myself because it took me a while to really work up the courage to say it on camera with the lights on me, shining down. But I said, you know what? If I need someone to do a Ander Herrera on Eden Hazard, and it's obviously a lesser extent here with Matoma, but Gallagher is the guy. Gallagher's the guy. He's going to provide a little bit of an outlet on the right-hand side, potentially overlapper on the winger, which I'll come to as a crosser, as an option. But main job is to stay in that place, in that position, and lock down Matoma. Don't let him go anywhere. Anticipation, aggression, in your face, just on him constantly. And he's got the pace to do it. He can keep up with play. And the person I'm going to place alongside him, who's at right side centre-back, is Badiashile. Because I'm going to allow this to be a double tag team situation where if Matoma cuts in, Badiashile's a left footer, you're kind of showing him onto Badiashile's stronger side. If he goes around the outside, Gallagher's going to mop that up being a right footer, being quick, being able to anticipate danger, being able to intercept and tackle and get amongst it. It's a big risk, but I'm going to go with it. And you let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's a suggestion. It's not going to happen, but it's just something that I've just thought of out of the blue, and I thought, why not? I want to see Badiashile partnered with Colwell for the first time. I know Badiashile had a bad game against Newcastle. I know people are thinking, wow, what's going on here? But he's been brilliant for us, really. He's been very good for us since he's come into the club. So I'm going to take that as a flash in the flash in the pan type situation. And yeah, we're going to play a little bit of a high line. We're going to be able to potentially do that if we want. And let's see if this combination can work, because we need to know. We need to find out. Colwell can't play left back forever. Badiashile, if they're going to play together at some point in this Chelsea stint, we need to see it, in the long term, let alone just the short term. We've conceded 12 goals in the last 3 games. It's about time that the defense got a little bit of a shake-up, in my opinion. So that's how I'm going with it. So let's go to the left and let's give some expansion. Let's give some attacking impetus to the team. So that's where my headspace is, because we can't go into this game with a flat 4 with nobody stretching and nobody going forward. That's just insane at home. And the reason why, extra reason for it, is because Enzo's on that side. And Enzo's been getting a lot of criticism recently. A lot of people are questioning him, doubting him. Not me, because that wasn't my tweet on Twitter, skullfuggery. So Enzo, listen, I want him to have options in front of him. That left channel has sometimes been neglected. We know we've played centre-backs at left back. We've played Chilwell at left wing this season. We've not played our most attacking, forward-thinking, fluidity type left wing. Left wing has usually been, Sterling or Mudryk, and they've usually been isolated because they've not had a left half space in Kuku or Carney to combine with, and they've also not had a left back overlapping. I don't want that this game. I want to try and do as much as possible on that side and give Enzo as many options. He's already leading in progressive passes in this league. He's already leading in through balls. He is not a sideways merchant. He is doing what he needs to do on the ball in terms of passing. Yes, we could ask for more on long range shots. We could ask for more in terms of I don't know. We could ask for more, because he's nowhere near his best, but he's definitely not awful if you're watching him. So Enzo for me, that side. Big game for him. Caicedo, big game for him. Those two back together. Leslie Okochoku back to the bench, but again, in and out, easing him in, looking after him. He was really decent against Newcastle, and he'll definitely play over the Christmas period. We've got loads of games coming up. Now, in the 10, Cole Palmer, in the epicenter of the team, in the fulcrum of the team. He went a bit missing against Newcastle. He didn't really get as involved as he should have, as he has. So we're going to play him in the 10. You're literally completely surrounded by players and talent, and you are the focus. You are the player we're playing through, so you have to be involved. It's not even an option, right? That's in place of course, Gallagher, who I'm moving. And yeah, with the right side now, it can only be Madueke. It's time to make your money. It's time to earn your money. Him and Palmer could have a bit of a chemistry and a partnership from the England under-21s. Let's try and see that. You're going to have Gallagher behind you. So, again, I don't really want to see Gallagher getting too far forward, because his job defensively is as tough enough as it is. But Madueke does like to hold width on the right-hand side when he plays. And then, obviously, when he receives, he comes inside. So, he's going to bring a bit of width to the team if we don't have the fullback going forward, which we probably won't. But Palmer will probably drift out there. They can combine, they can connect, and they can have a little bit of synergy, right? Should have some chemistry from the under-21s, like I said. And then you have Matson and Sterling on the other side having a little bit of synergy, hopefully some sort of link-up. So you've got those 4 players potentially in that attacking line behind the striker, providing you something in the half spaces, with Palmer on the right half space, Sterling in the left half space, Matson on the really, really wide mark on the left. And obviously you've got the likes of Madueke really high and wide on the right. And obviously up front, I'm going to go over Mando Broja. Jackson, it's a little bit frustrating last game. Didn't take his shot first time. Didn't really get enough shots off at all. And I want to see what Broja's like now. Give him an opportunity. He's a very good striker as well, in my opinion, if he can get to his full fitness and his full capacity. He's got a lovely ball striking technique on him as well. He's physical. He's got a bit of pace. If he can recover from this injury, he's very deceptively quick. So just somebody different. Give him a chance. Let's see how he does. That's my team. That's my logic behind it. We know, like I said, Brighton's 2 centre-backs are out, so I want Broja physically to try and see if he can get some change out of them as well. As we know, Jackson physically is not really the most imposing in comparison. And if James Milner is probably going to play at left-back or at right-back or in midfield, wherever he is, press the crap out of him and run him ragged. If he's on Sterling's side, finished. If he's on that side, maybe Palmer. Probably Gallagher will have to offer some width. That's all we've really got over there. And in the middle, I mean, if he's playing centre mid, then Gallagher should be pressing him like crazy. So my score prediction for this game is 2-1. That's my team. You guys, you let me know your team in the comments down below. You let me know your score prediction in the comments down below as well. I am... Confidence is not the right word, because how can you be really confident right now with how knee-jerk we are? But I am hopeful and I am optimistic. That's the word. Optimistic. I do believe that we can win this game. I'm not just saying 2-1 just because. I don't believe that we're just going to keep losing every single game, just like we're not going to win every single game, clearly. But it's about time we put it to the test and actually go ahead and get the 3 points, especially at home, because I think it's still one win in the last 13 or 14 or however many games. Absolutely atrocious. And there was another stat line that came out that in terms of points per game, we are ranked just above the bottom 3 in like the last year, because obviously there's no team worse than us points per game apart from the teams that have been relegated or the teams that have only just come up and therefore have played fewer games. That is, it's not just Pochettino's fault. Obviously, it's spread over 2 seasons. That is absolutely outrageous. That is absolutely unforgivable. That is absolutely unfathomable. So fix that shit immediately, emphatically and bombastically, because I really need us to win this game. If we don't win this game, we're really kissing goodbye any sort of upper echelon European place. You might sneak in a conference if you're lucky at this point. Behave yourselves. Make sure you smash up the likes, like I said, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.